They tried to analyze human laughter. A seemingly innocent endeavor, wasn't it? To dissect joy, to codify mirth, to understand what makes us bare our teeth and convulse in that strange, rhythmic, often uncontrollable way. We imagine scientists in white coats, meticulously recording decibel levels, mapping facial muscle contortions, correlating chuckles with dopamine releases. What could go wrong? What could be alarming about the purest expression of human delight? But the results, as the very existence of this message implies, weren't published in cheerful psychology journals alongside studies of puppy-induced happiness. They weren't presented at conferences with polite applause. No, the results, the raw, unvarnished truth unearthed from the depths of what we call laughter, were deemed too unsettling, too destabilizing. They were classified as a cosmic horror. A cosmic horror. Not merely unpleasant, not just disturbing, but a truth so vast, so indifferent to our comfort, so fundamentally challenging to our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe, that it inspires a unique kind of dread. A dread that whispers of a reality far stranger and more terrifying than our daily illusions allow us to perceive. Today, we peel back the sanitizing layers. We look into the abyss that laughter, when truly understood, can reveal, not to succumb to despair, but to forge an unbreakable spirit. Because true strength, true mental fortitude, isn't built on comforting lies. It's forged in the crucible of harsh reality. You are here because you suspect there's more to life than the superficial, that there are deeper currents at play. You're ready to face the uncomfortable, to confront the shadows, so you can walk through them and emerge, not unscathed, but stronger, more aware, and truly unstoppable. So, let us dare to look at what they found when they tried to analyze human laughter, and why those findings were locked away, labeled a cosmic horror. First, consider the initial attempt, the surface-level dissection. Laughter, in its common understanding, is a social lubricant, a sign of joy, a stress reliever. It's the sound of children playing, the punchline landing, the shared moment of absurdity. Physiologically, it's a complex series of muscle contractions, vocalizations, and respiratory changes. Psychologically, it's linked to humor, surprise, relief, and social bonding. Theories abound. The superiority theory, where we laugh at others' misfortunes. The relief theory, where laughter releases pent-up tension. The incongruity theory, where we laugh at the juxtaposition of unexpected or incompatible things. For a while, the analysis might have seemed productive, yielding neat charts and predictable patterns. Laughter in response to tickling. Laughter as a signal of playfulness in primates and humans. The contagious nature of laughter spreading through a group like a benign virus. The researchers likely believed they were mapping a fundamental, positive human experience. They were cataloging its forms: the chuckle, the guffaw, the giggle, the snort. They were identifying its triggers, its benefits for the immune system, its role in mate selection. All very reasonable, all very manageable. But the deeper they delved, the more the familiar landscape of joy began to warp. The data points started to form constellations that were not comforting, but deeply unsettling. It was like peeling an onion, expecting a sweet core, only to find that each layer removed revealed a more pungent, more acrid truth, until at the very center there was not a core, but a void, or worse, something staring back. The simple, joyful act of laughter began to reflect something primal, something ancient, and something terrifyingly indifferent to human aspiration. The why of laughter, when pursued to its ultimate end, led not to enlightenment, but to a chilling precipice. This brings us to the first layer of the cosmic horror: laughter as a thin veil over the abyss. Imagine the universe, vast, cold, and utterly indifferent to your existence, your struggles, your triumphs. Billions of galaxies, trillions of stars, and on one insignificant speck of dust, A species briefly flourishes, telling itself stories of its own importance. This is the backdrop. Now consider much of what we laugh at: the slip on the banana peel, the misspoken word, the absurd situation. Often, it's a momentary disruption of order, a minor chaos that we can quickly master or dismiss. We laugh, and in that laughter, there's a small, fleeting sense of control, of superiority over the chaotic. But what if that laughter is not an assertion of control, but a desperate, almost hysterical deflection from the true scale of chaos, the true indifference that surrounds us? The analysis began to suggest that much of our daily mirth, our polite chuckles, our shared jokes, are like whistling past a graveyard. A cosmic graveyard. The horror here is the realization of our profound cosmic insignificance and the terror of ultimate meaninglessness that gnaws at the edges of consciousness. Laughter in this light becomes a frantic dance on the lip of an indifferent volcano. The fleeting joy it provides is not a genuine connection to something profound, but a temporary distraction from the terrifying silence of the void. Think of gallows humor. Soldiers joking before a battle they might not survive. Patients with terminal illnesses finding levity in their predicament. We praise this as courage, and in some ways it is. But the classified analysis saw something else. The raw, primal scream of a consciousness facing annihilation, masked as a chuckle. It's the mind's desperate attempt to normalize the abnormal, to make the unbearable momentarily bearable. But the underlying terror remains, and the laughter in this context is a hollow echo against the vastness of that terror. The Stoic knows this indifference. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly of the transient nature of all things, the vastness of time before and after his brief existence. The Stoic response to this cosmic horror isn't to laugh louder to drown out the silence, nor is it to fall into nihilistic despair. It is to acknowledge the abyss, to look it squarely in the eye, and then to turn your attention to what is within your control, your thoughts, your actions, your character. Amor fati, love your fate. Accept the indifference of the universe not as a curse, but as a liberation from the burden of cosmic importance. Your meaning is not handed down from the stars. It is forged by you in your virtuous responses to the hand you're dealt. The actionable step here is brutal honesty with yourself. When you laugh, especially in situations tinged with discomfort or absurdity, ask yourself, what am I really laughing at? Is this genuine joy, or is it a shield? Are you laughing to connect or laughing to avoid? Practice memento mori not as a morbid obsession, but as a clarifier of priorities. If your existence is finite and the universe is indifferent, then what truly matters? It is not the fleeting approval gained by a well-timed joke, but the enduring substance of a life well-lived, a character well-formed. This realization, this shift in perspective, strips away the need for laughter as a desperate defense, allowing for a more authentic, albeit perhaps more sober, engagement with reality. Then the analysis peeled back another layer, revealing a second, more intimate, but no less horrifying truth. The social savage, laughter as a weapon and a cage. We like to think of laughter as inclusive, a bonding agent. And it can be. But the researchers, sifting through the data of human interaction, found a disturbing prevalence of laughter's darker twin: ridicule, mockery, scorn. Laughter used not to unite, but to divide, to establish dominance, to enforce conformity, and to inflict exquisite psychological pain. Think of the schoolyard bully, whose laughter echoes the victim's humiliation. Think of the cutting sarcasm in a corporate meeting designed to belittle a rival, met with sycophantic chuckles from those eager to align with power. Think of the derisive laughter directed at those who dare to be different, who challenge the status quo, who express unconventional ideas. This isn't the laughter of joy. It's the braying of the pack, circling, judging, and often condemning. The cosmic horror, element here isn't about the vastness of space, but the vastness of human cruelty and the insidious ways we use even something as seemingly innocent as laughter to perpetuate it. It's the realization that deep within our social DNA, there's a primal instinct to identify the other, the weak, the different, and to use laughter as a tool of exclusion and control. The analysis would have shown how laughter delineates in-groups and out-groups, how it reinforces social hierarchies, how it can be a chilling precursor to ostracization or even violence. Your own nervous laughter when you've said something foolish, fearing judgment, that's a response to this primal fear of social death, a fear policed by the laughter of others. Consider the pressure to laugh along. How many times have you forced a chuckle at a joke you found unfunny or even offensive simply to fit in, to avoid being singled out? That forced laughter is the sound of your own authenticity being compromised. It's the subtle cage built by social expectation, where genuine expression is sacrificed for the illusion of belonging. The classified truth is that much of social laughter isn't spontaneous joy, but a carefully calibrated performance, a signal of allegiance, or a desperate plea for acceptance. It's a currency in a brutal social economy. The Stoic response to this horror of the social savage is rooted in justice, courage, and indifference to externals. A Stoic strives to treat others with fairness and dignity, refusing to participate in malicious laughter or use humor as a weapon. They understand that the judgments and laughter of others are external to their own character, and therefore ultimately irrelevant to their worth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." If others use laughter to mock or demean, the Stoic response is not to retaliate in kind, but to maintain one's own composure and integrity. The actionable path here involves cultivating fierce self-awareness in social contexts. Observe, when do you laugh at others' expense? When do you laugh along to conform? Make a conscious decision to withdraw your participation from derogatory humor. This isn't about being humorless, it's about being principled. Develop the courage to not laugh when something violates your values, even if it means standing alone. This builds incredible inner strength. Furthermore, practice indifference to the mocking laughter of others. Their laughter is a reflection of them, not of your intrinsic value. Focus on your internal scorecard, on living by your principles. This is how you dismantle the social cage and reclaim your authenticity from the grip of the pack. You stop being a sheep, bleating nervously with the flock, and start walking your own path, guided by your own reason. As the supposed researchers pushed further, past the cosmic dread, past the social predation, they stumbled upon a third manifestation of this classified horror, something that touched the very fabric of sanity. The echo of madness, laughter at the edge of reason. There is a laughter that is not joy, not defense, not social maneuvering. It is the laughter that comes when the mind is overwhelmed, when reality itself seems to fracture. Think of the cackling villain in a story whose laughter signifies not amusement, but a detachment from empathy, a reveling in chaos. Think of the hysterical laughter that can erupt in moments of extreme stress, trauma, or grief. A laughter that is unsettlingly close to tears. A sound that seems to claw its way out from a place of profound brokenness. The analysis would have traced the neural pathways of this laughter, finding them intertwined with regions of the brain associated with fear, with cognitive dissonance, with the breakdown of coherent thought. This is the laughter of the absurd, not in the philosophical sense of Camus, but in the immediate, terrifying sense of reality dissolving. It's the laughter of someone staring into the Lovecraftian abyss and finding not intellectual enlightenment, but a terrifying, seductive madness. The cosmic horror. Here is the fragility of human sanity. the thinness of the veil that separates our ordered perception of the world from a chaotic, meaningless, or even malevolent reality that our minds are not equipped to process. Imagine someone witnessing an event so bizarre, so contrary to all known laws of nature, that the only possible response is a wild, unhinged peal of laughter. It's not funny. It's terrifying. The laughter is a symptom of the mind snapping, or perhaps a desperate attempt to impose some kind of emotional expression onto an experience that defies all existing categories. This is the laughter that echoes in asylum corridors in horror films, the laughter that signifies a complete surrender of reason. The researchers, in their quest to understand all laughter, would have inevitably encountered these extreme, unsettling forms, and they would have realized that laughter isn't always a sign of health or happiness. It can be a profound indicator of psychological distress, a signal that the individual is unmoored from consensual reality. This classified knowledge is horrifying because it reveals that the comforting anchor of our own sanity is perhaps not as firm as we believe. It suggests that the absurd, the chaotic, the truly terrifying is always lurking just beneath the surface, and that under sufficient pressure, any mind can break, and that break might be heralded by a sound we usually associate with joy. The Stoic approach to this potential for internal chaos is the unwavering commitment to reason, the logos. Stoicism teaches emotional regulation not as suppression, but as the skill of understanding and managing one's responses through rational thought. When faced with the absurd or the overwhelming, the Stoic doesn't succumb to hysterical reaction, but strives to maintain an inner citadel of calm and clarity. They acknowledge the limits of human understanding, accepting that some things may be beyond our comprehension, without letting that mystery unravel their core stability. The actionable work here is the daily practice of mindfulness and emotional discernment. Learn to recognize the subtle shifts in your internal state. Is your laughter a release of genuine joy, or is it tinged with anxiety, hysteria, or a sense of things spiraling out of control? Cultivate grounding techniques, deep breathing, sensory awareness, connection to the present moment, to anchor yourself when faced with overwhelming stress or cognitive dissonance. Strengthen your rational mind through study, through contemplation, through challenging your own biases and irrational fears. Understand that while the world can be chaotic and unpredictable, your response to that chaos can be one of measured reason and enduring calm. This doesn't mean you become unfeeling. It means you become the master of your feelings, rather than their slave. You learn to navigate the edge of reason without falling into the abyss, using your intellect as a guiding light. So why were these findings? Laughter as a shield against the void, laughter as a social weapon, laughter as an echo of madness, ultimately classified as a cosmic horror. The cosmic aspect is crucial. It's not just that these are unpleasant psychological quirks. It's that, when viewed together, they paint a picture of human existence that is far removed from the comforting narratives we tell ourselves. They suggest that our lives are played out against a backdrop of vast indifference, that our social structures are riddled with primal cruelties, and that our very sanity is a more fragile construct than we dare to admit. Laughter, that most human of expressions, becomes a distorted mirror reflecting these unsettling, universal truths. The horror lies in the shattering of illusions. We want to believe that joy is simple, that society is fundamentally benign, that our minds are robust. The analysis of laughter, pursued to its terrifying conclusions, threatened to dismantle these comforting beliefs. It revealed the skull beneath the smiling skin, and this kind of truth can be dangerous if presented without context, without the tools to process it. It can lead to cynicism, despair, or even a kind of societal unraveling if people lose faith in the basic tenets of shared experience. The act of classification itself is significant. It implies a gatekeeping of knowledge, a decision made by some authority that the general populace is not ready, not strong enough to confront these realities. But you are not the general populace. You are here, seeking the hard truths because you understand that ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is weakness. True empowerment comes from confronting reality in all its terrifying glory and choosing to build your strength upon that unshakable foundation. This brings us to the most crucial part, confronting the horror, the path to unstoppable resilience. Knowing these classified truths about the hidden dimensions of laughter, and by extension, human nature and existence, is not an endpoint. It is a catalyst. The cosmic horror isn't meant to paralyze you, it's meant to awaken you. It's meant to strip away the superficial and force you to engage with life on a deeper, more authentic level. The Stoic does not flinch from harsh realities. Epictetus taught that it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. The horrors we've discussed are, in a sense, interpretations of the raw data of existence. By understanding them, by dissecting them rationally, we gain power over them. How can this knowledge, this confrontation with the cosmic horror, embedded in something as mundane as laughter, make you stronger, more resilient, truly unstoppable? First, it deconstructs fear. Understanding that some laughter is a defense against existential dread allows you to confront that dread directly, rather than unconsciously masking it. Recognizing that mocking laughter is a tool of social control allows you to become immune to its sting, seeing it for the pathetic display it often is. Knowing that hysterical laughter can signal a mind at its limit encourages you to build robust mental and emotional coping mechanisms. When you understand the machinery of fear and anxiety, as reflected in these darker aspects of laughter, you can begin to dismantle it piece by piece. Second, it empowers authentic connection. If much of common laughter is superficial, defensive, or even malicious, then the pursuit of genuine joy and authentic connection becomes even more vital. When you understand the counterfeit, you appreciate the real thing even more. You'll seek out relationships and experiences that generate laughter from a place of true shared happiness, empathy, and understanding, not from a place of fear, conformity, or cruelty. Your laughter, when it comes, will be a conscious choice, a genuine expression, not a conditioned reflex. Third, it forges supreme self-mastery. The Stoic goal is to live in accordance with nature and reason. Understanding the darker potentials within human nature, including your own capacity for using laughter cruelly or being swayed by it, is essential for self-mastery. You learn to observe your own impulses to laugh, to question their origin. Am I laughing to belittle? Am I laughing from nervousness? Am I laughing to conform? This self-awareness allows you to choose your responses, to align your expressions with your values. You master your internal state, unswayed by the fleeting judgments or manipulations embedded in the laughter of others. Fourth, it clarifies your pursuit of authentic meaning. If the universe is indifferent and superficial social games are ultimately hollow, then the pursuit of external validation through things like eliciting easy laughter becomes meaningless. This cosmic horror pushes you to seek deeper sources of purpose and fulfillment. Virtue, contribution, personal growth, meaningful relationships. When the cheap thrills of superficial mirth lose their appeal, you are free to invest your energy in what truly endures. So what are the concrete actions you can take, armed with this classified knowledge? Practice radical self-observation. For the next week, become a scientist of your own laughter and the laughter around you. When do you laugh? Why? What's the context? What's the underlying emotion? Is it joy, relief, anxiety, scorn, habit? Keep a journal. This isn't about judging, but about understanding the raw data of your own experience. Embrace discomfort as a teacher. The truths we've discussed are uncomfortable. Do not shy away from this discomfort. Sit with it. The Stoics called this negative visualization, contemplating difficult realities not to dwell on them, but to prepare for them and to appreciate what you have. This discomfort is a signpost pointing towards areas where you need to build resilience. Cultivate your inner citadel. Strengthen your commitment to your core values and principles. These become your unshakable fortress when faced with external pressures or internal turmoil. Define what matters to you: integrity, justice, courage, wisdom, and make every effort to live by these, regardless of the laughter or approval of the crowd. Choose your expression consciously. Laughter can be a powerful force. Choose to wield it for good. Use humor to uplift, to connect genuinely, to diffuse tension constructively. Refuse to participate in laughter that demeans or excludes. Let your laughter be an authentic expression of your inner state, not a mask or a weapon. Seek depth over distraction. Recognize when you or others might be using humor or superficial levity to avoid confronting difficult truths or emotions. Dare to have the deeper conversation. Dare to face the silence. Find fulfillment not in constant noise and amusement, but in meaningful engagement with your life, your work, and your relationships. The analysis of human laughter, pushed to its limits, revealed classified truths that touch upon cosmic horror, the indifference of the universe, the savagery within our social structures, the fragility of our own minds. But this knowledge is not a curse. It is a key. It is a stark, brutal, and ultimately liberating mirror reflecting the human condition. By daring to look into that mirror, by refusing to be pacified by comforting illusions, you unlock a new level of awareness. And with that awareness comes the power to choose strength over weakness, to choose resilience over fragility, to choose authentic purpose over superficial distraction. They classified the results because they feared the impact of such raw truth. But you are not them. You understand that facing the horror, understanding its dimensions, is the first step to transcending it. It is how you stop being a pawn in a cosmic joke you don't understand and start becoming the conscious architect of your own response to the universe. The laughter that may have once been a nervous tick, a social obligation, or a hollow echo can now become a genuine expression of a spirit that has faced the darkness and chosen to shine its own light. Go forth, and let your understanding of these depths inform a life of unshakable integrity and profound strength. Do not fear the abyss. Learn from it, and build your castle on the bedrock of reality itself.